Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Kurin Keys Show. Today I'm going into some heartfelt issues, why people don't go to church anymore. And I think there are a couple facets of it, like we've lost a lot of loving kindness. Getting the God lottery and versus tithing, you know, that $20, $40, $60, $100, so forth and so on. So you get more Jesus because you paid more money. And I think that is very different than the essence of tithing. And then finally, we're going to talk about accountability in church. The whole point of the show is for people to get better and people to move forward. So anybody can just list, oh, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. But today we're going to talk about what's wrong and then how to get you back in church and be able to reestablish your relationship. Go get your coffee. Like I said, today going to be pretty interesting. We're going to talk about some stuff and prayerfully it can help you grow. Next up on the Kurin Keys Show, we're going to see some of my favorite praise breaks of all time. Keep it locked. Coming up on the Kurin Keys Show, why people don't go to church anymore. I think the church has lost its way of when Jesus talked about with loving kindness I draw thee. And that is an aspect we need to bring back to the church. So when you talk about loving kindness and the aspects of how it has left the church, you know, when Jesus started talking about with loving kindness I draw thee, you know, here's the aspect of loving kindness. Like before he preached to the 5,000 people, he fed them. Why? Because he understood that if you love the people, then you have to feed their physical need first so you can address their spiritual need. And I think, you know, a lot of people feel, especially when I've gone to churches where you walk in, people, you know, and a lot of people, church people had that, who, like, almost like the aunt looking through the blinds of, who them? Who them jokers outside? What y'all doing? What you doing coming in my church? What you want? And I think that when they say my church, no, it's not your church. It's the church that you attend, but the church is for everybody. And so the loving kindness, people walking there, they going through stuff. You know, and I look at church as a spiritual hospital. Like nobody walks, a gunshot victim doesn't walk into the emergency room like, hey, you know, I have this gunshot. Can you put me back together, please? You know, I need some help. You know, my other side is bleeding and, you know, I'm kind of bleeding profusely and I've lost, you know, almost a quart of blood. But if you can gladly attend to this gunshot wound, I'd be ever so grateful. No, gunshot victims come into the emergency, help, and I think the church has lost the aspect of understanding that you are the spiritual emergency room. And so people are going to come in there spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, help me. And so you have to have that, what do you need? How can we serve it right then? If you ever see a nurse or a physician's assistant that works in the emergency room, they are, how can we get you better faster? What they want to first do is stabilize you. And so they want to get you in to where, when you come in bleeding, first they want to do, they want to stop the bleeding. So in the church aspect of it, when a person come in, do you stop the bleeding? Do you love them? That's what they all, when people come in, they just want to be, that's how you immediately stop the bleeding. You see a husband and wife and a kid come into your church, I'm going to give, when you see a husband and wife coming in your church, they're not just coming to visit. This is what happened that you don't know the backstory of. They've been arguing, they've been going through hell, they're looking at divorce, they're questioning their own decisions in their marriage, and they said, let's just go to church. I don't, the husband has said, or the wife has said, I don't have the answers, let's just go to church. Well, what church you going to? Well, so-and-so go to this church, and I heard it was a good church, we're going to go. And the wife says, okay, all right. And so as soon as you walk in the door, well, y'all got to, what they want. They're here for help, because they just went through hell in their household. And so they're coming to the church because they were told and were taught that the church is your sanctuary, and I can go here and get help for whatever it is. It's not always a financial need. You know, people want to preach the financial blessing and da-da-da-da-da. Ain't nothing wrong with Joel Osteen's message. I get prosperity and everything, but when you talk about prosperity, you know, mental health, physical health, and emotional stability are far greater assets than any amount of money anybody ever had. Ask Robin Williams, what would he have rather had? Millions or mental stability? Emotional stability. Ask somebody that's buried somebody who committed suicide, you know, what's more important, insurance money or they want their family member back? And of course you'll get the answer, because these are things that are very important and that we devalue because we always forget that the money's in, and it's not it. Loving kindness, when you see these people come in, oh, the girl, she got a tight skirt on. You have no idea what her night is like. She might have got drunk and woke up with, you know, a condom laying on the side of the bed and her panties on the other side of the bed, and she has no clue who she was with. She got up, washed the face in the hot spots, put on what she had on, wiped all the makeup off, put her hair in the decent, and said, I'm driving and I'm gonna stop by this church, I need some help. But a lot of people have, who that? Oh, Felosi, she come in here to sleep with the pastor. I ain't having it. And that's not loving kindness. When people walk in, like I went to Manna, and Manna, like I've never seen anything with so much loving kindness that I saw at Manna Church. Not saying that they're the only people who do it, a lot of other people do it, but Manna Church, when you walk in, they greet you, they give you a hug, how you doing, so forth, so on. They asked me, well, what if you were going to work in the church, what ministry would you work in? I was like, I never thought. He said, we do audio visual, we do usher board, so forth, and I felt so welcome when I went to Manna. It was like, yes, that. They gave me a coffee cup, sent me something in the mail, and it was a level of with loving kindness. And so I use Manna as an example to say every church isn't lack thereof, but more need to have it the way you welcome. And like I remember, I ain't been to Manna in almost 2 years, and I remember that experience. I got a coffee cup and sitting up there, and I remember how I felt when I went there, because people rarely remember what you do, how much money you gave them, what you said to them, so forth. They will always remember how you made them feel. And that's why loving kindness is so important in the church, because it is your spiritual sanctuary. People need to know, okay, if I'm feeling bad, I can go here and get a word that I can apply to my life. And that is the essence of it. It's not like, it's not all about one glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to mansions and the streets of gold. I get all of that. But the Bible also speaks of in heaven as it is on earth as it is in heaven. So am I supposed to have to wait till I get to heaven to have mental stability? No, it's not. That's not it. You know, so with loving kindness, bring that back. And if you are at a ministry and you are the person that has a lot of loving kindness in your heart, spread it, because you never know whose life you can save or whose marriage you can change by just saying, hey, welcome to our church. We're glad to have you. Do you need anything? You'd be surprised. And a nice hug. And I'm talking about a good, warm how you doing hug. I ain't talking about that hug from Aretha Franklin's funeral. How you doing? You know, with the, how you doing, sister? You know, no, not that hug. I'm not talking about that. That's, no. Talk about the, how you doing? When you tap your brother up, pull him close, you doing good? You know, you look good, you sharp, brother. So listen, we'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned, it's the Kurin Keys Show. Up next, the God lottery versus tithing. You know, and I understand the aspects of giving back, you know, and Malachi, you know, 3 and 10 and things like that. But there's some things is, $20, $40, $60, $70, sold to the person, you gonna get more Jesus because you gave more money. No, that's not it. It was on my spirit, like the Lord just spoke to me and told me, there are 10 people in here that have $100 bill in there. Matter of fact, it's not even the $100 bill. If you have 5 20s, 10 10s, 25s, and if you bring that up and put it on the altar right now, God is going to bless you in a mighty, mighty special way. Listen, if you go to a church like that, leave. You know, I'm just be the first to y'all. That's trash. You know, that's the God lottery. You know, you know, and that's not tithing. That is not the essence of tithing. And I don't have a problem with tithes and offering. I don't have a problem with it. I have a way that it's sold. It is sold as if, you know, when they talk about tithing and offering in Malachi, what they're talking about is the community coming together. God has blessed the community, and the community coming together, which was the church, to make sure the people that don't have. I get that. So if your refrigerator is full and you can't, if you got 10 pounds of chicken and you know it's poor people, it's folks over here that don't have none, you can't take 1 pound of chicken out and give it. Now you get 50 households to take out 1 pound. Now you got 50 pounds of chicken you can feed, so forth. That was more of the ideal of it, of paying your tithes and moving forward to where there's a group effort to help. It is sold as if you do this, gotta do that. And then it also sold like where it's the God lottery. I am buying this raffle ticket. I am buying this Jesus raffle ticket to where Jesus is going to do this for me if I do that. And I think that is totally bogus on how that shows, because they're using God laid it on my heart. I'm sitting right here about God don't need no interpreter. God could tell me, you know, if he wanted me to do some things and so forth and so on. It's the way it's sold, the way it's portrayed. And then if you don't, you're demonized or criminalized as if the reason your finances ain't going is because you ain't paying your tithes. And so I do believe in the exchange of energy. When you put something out, then it's come back in. And then they say, well, you got to be a cheerful giver. You can't act like you can't say, if I don't do it, I'm going to be criminalized by God. God is going to curse me with a curse. And then you say, you better be cheerful about it. It's like they take a lot of things and mix a lot of things together to make people feel bad, and that's not how it should be sold. And then if you don't get it back, if you get 100 and it'll come back to you 30, 40, 60, 100 fold. So you need $3,000, $6,000 or $10,000 to come back from $100. That's a God lottery. That is not the essence of giving from your heart. You're part of Christian culture. These are the things that we do in Christian culture. Let's move forward together. There's always it is sold with some expectation on the back end. And that's not love. That's not unconditional love. That is not. It's very controlling, and those are the things that I don't like about it. Like, I like to see churches that are doing things in the community with the tithing. Like Lewis Chapel is a phenomenal example of churches that do things in the community. I'm not saying other churches don't, but I've seen Lewis Chapel with I think they had a rest home off of Ramsey Street or Rose Hill, and then the Fuller Center. They do so much, so I paid tithes for there, and I see my little bit being, my little tithes may have been 5 bricks in the Fuller Center, but that is a movement of community service and community acts to where they're making better, because proms are had there, events are had there, basketball games there, there's a workout center there. They do so much in the community, and that is more of an example of it. So when it's sold as, you better or else, or a building fund, or this other things like that, I think it gets a little construed, and I think it's unfair. You got families that where they're struggling, living from check to check, and then, well, a man robbed God. See, you gonna be cursed. That's why your finances, man. You got somebody who's been paying tithes 30 years, they still broke. You know, so, you know, Now what is the narrative of that person? They want a cheerful giver. God bless them in a different way. It don't always come back and find. You never sold it like that. And so that's why people stop going to church, because it's not sold like, listen, if you get this, first off, you get a tax write-off. Second, if you give that, these are the things that we're moving forward for. And there's a level of energy that comes back forward. You know, like if a business owner is paying tithes to church, then I believe the church should be utilizing his business, you know, to sort of come all the way back around, circulate, you know. So if you don't have the money, so forth and so on. Let's say you don't have the money, but you're retired and the church needs the grass cut. And the grass to cut the church would have been $150 a week because you got bushes. And you come through, the guy retired, bring his lawnmower, he cut it. That's $600 a month, that's $7,000 a month that went back into the church. That's the equivalent of somebody that made $70,000 a year giving back. If you own a carpet cleaning business, or if you, whatever you do well, if you're giving back to the church, those are things that are amazing about tithing and giving and things of that nature. And it's not, when the guy cuts the grass for the church, he's not expecting anything but for the church to look good. When somebody gives their time or their energy, let's say a plumber, the church can't afford a new AC, somebody AC come through, fix it, he's not expecting anything but the church to be heated and cool. It's not about well, I need this back 30, 40, 60. It is, my church needed this for fellowship, and we're going to do this to help the church move forward. And I think once the narrative changes from, God gonna bless you, but if you don't, he gonna curse you. When that changes to, we're all putting this in as a collective effort so we can move forward. Do what you can. When that narrative changes, you'll see people start coming back to the church. So, because now people don't feel bad for not having. Next up on the Kurin Keys show, accountability and church hurt. Let's heal together. Let's be more responsible together. Accountability is something that I've seen that many churches sometimes get wrong. And I'm not saying to get wrong on purpose. I think you know they go with the overall message. Like, and I'll give you an example. My trainer is in shape. Like my trainer, De'Allen Pretlow, is in shape. Like, he's my age, he's in shape. 225, knock it out. Now, when he snacks or I come in, bro, what you doing with that Dunkin' Donut? Bro, hey, I cheated today. My bad. I gotta there, but he's in shape, he's imperfect, he's accountable. And I think that's what makes, some pastors that are accountable are amazing. Like I saw the pastor, and I was in church one time, and the pastor said, listen, it's my wife over there. Me and my wife been together 20 years. About 10 years in, I cheated on my wife, had a whole affair. We separated for 6 months, went through it, so forth, so on. My wife forgave me. 3 years later, I cheated again, so forth, so on. And then me and my wife even went through a situation where she left me, and then we got back together, and then we put it back together. And I was in church like, wow, accountability. Somebody being, it not painting the picture like, it's always perfect, it's always great, we're okay, nothing is wrong. There was a level of accountability, and his owning it helped people. You understand? But he said that, and they still together. With ladies, I'm gonna address y'all. It's like a lot of y'all had to check yourself when Beyonce got cheated on and she took her man back. Oh, it was paying my telephone bills, and I'm an independent woman, and so forth and so on. And y'all had to check yourself because B got cheated on, and she was like, wait a minute, maybe I need to take my man back too. Chick worth $500 million, she working her relationship out. You work at the plant, girl. Amen. But the whole point is just a level of an accountability in the church to where the nose isn't so high up that where you can't touch people at a real level. There's nothing like somebody that deals with a drunk that say, listen, I'm a deacon now, but I'm 5 years dry. I don't drink no more. But I got 2 DWIs that they cost me $10,000 a piece. I almost lost my family. And that level of accountability, and the guy that says, I am always one shot of vodka away from being an alcoholic again. So then the person that's the alcoholic said, man, I didn't know, man. You look like you got your life. No, the level of accountability to one another, and I think that's what happens in the church is that people just want to be connected to somebody that looks like them, that goes through them. The best rappers or the best R&B artists all sing songs about things that people relate to or go through, and people can relate to them. And if you take anything from the secular world into the Christian world in reference to keeping people, is the accountability factors. You know, when John Gray talked about some of his accountability factors, people related to it, and people were able to use that as fuel for their lives to get back together. And what I'm telling the church is that be accountable. You know, if God is not giving you the ability to walk through an oncology department or a hospice to heal people, you can't preach on that. You know, because then people are looking at you like, bruh, you know. And you know, when the Bible speaks of, you know, these things and greater, when Jesus told them these things and greater with you, it has to be relative to what the gift that you have, and work the gift that you have to help people. So nobody looks at you as if, oh, you're disappointing or you're not keeping it. If you're not perfect, keep it 100. Listen, I had a bad day. I cuss too sometimes. So people, do you, Pastor? Yeah. I still get it wrong. Because then what happens is that people don't put you on that pedestal of unrealistic expectation. They look at you, listen, your gift is being able to bring the word forward. But outside of my gift, I am human. I get mad, I get upset, and things of that nature. And that level of accountability will bring people in, because people won't feel like you're a demigod or you're above them. And, oh, you can't relate. They're like, you're normal folks with an outstanding gift that can bring people together and help people's lives. And that's what makes a difference. It's like my trainer. I am not expecting my trainer to be perfect, but he's in better shape than I am, and he's moving forward, and he has the ability to make mistakes and enjoy Dunkin' Donuts like I do. So listen, be accountable to the people that are around you, because you never know who's depending on your actions to get them through what they're going through. Let me do that again. Be accountable, and all I would say is that be accountable to the people you tell your story to and you live your story to, because sometimes your story helps them get through their story. All right, so now it's time for me to do my shout out section. So if I'm give a big shout out, but these are all the people that came together to make it outside of my producers that I feel like I wanted to say hi to. So we're gonna rock out a little bit. So first shout out, my best friend Cedric Ellington. Listen, bro, I love you. That's my guy. You know, Ronnie Rouse, who helped produce the Ish That Don't Work in Marriage. Wakia Henry, you don't know how much of an inspiration you are. I see you working in everything that you do in PR, and I'm kind of checking you. Justin Freeman, my guy, I love you to death. Beta Chi chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Listen, I love y'all. Hiya! Bringing me in, my LB, Dion, Dexter, Kenny. You know, I love y'all, man. Like, to my heart, I love y'all. You know, I just hope my cute, tight, and dumb. Who else I got to give a shout out? My staff for holding me down. Sean, Mike, Rudy, my sister Elise. Big shout out to all my sisters. I got a big family, so I got 7 sisters. It's Trinice, Rhonda, Danielle, Elise, Eliza, Jasmine, and Aisha. Big shout out to my sisters. I love y'all. To my parents, Douglas Carell and Dr. Kurin Keys. Listen, I love y'all for giving me everything that y'all had to make me who I am today. And without y'all, there is no me, so I'm grateful. Big shout out to my grandparents, Samuel and Ruth Keys, and then my other grandparents, Flora and Robert Keys. Those Carell, you know, Flora and Robert Carell. So it's a bunch of people that came together to form Voltron. A lot of big shout outs, Goldsmith and Goldsmith. Thank y'all for really backing me on that. My man Yamani, listen, amazing inspiration. Keep pushing forward. Straight drop seafood, drop by the river. You know, I watch your videos and things on Facebook and see you pushing forward, and I want you to keep being blessed and keep rocking on and keep going harder. My man Chris Phillips over at Rudy's, thank you. You know, thank you for always being an inspiration. Let me see things all the way over. My guy Ryan over at American Tattoo Society. Phenomenal guy. And so, also Laura Hardy and Caitlin Evans, y'all came through at a crucial time for me, and it really taught me a lot about marketing. So thank y'all. It's a bunch of other people that really helped out, and if I forgot about you, you know, I didn't forget about you. My guy Roy Bell, my guy Steve Mims, Gene, card players, you know, all the guys came together to make everything amazing about me, which added to the Kurin Keys show. Big shout out to Tony Marks. Big shout out to Ryan. So it's a lot of pieces in this. I want to give a big shout out to my children. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but y'all push me. This is all for y'all. I want y'all to be able to look back and be like, my dad did it. And it's generational wealth is not just about the life insurance or the money I left, or the house that I left you, or the business I left you. It is about the legacy of your name. And so my children, all 9 of them, Ashley, Valerie, Corinne, Solomon, Michael, Nicholas, Vincent, Daddy, Joel, and Cassius, and I love y'all dearly, 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 dearly. I love y'all. So this is all for you. This will be yours one day. So legacy. And big shout out to the Hamiltons, Kev on stage, Jason with Noe, Fredericks. Those are a lot of celebrities that really gave me a shot, gave me a lot of advice. Danny Ragg is also my frat brother. I was able to call him on a lot of times, and Danny was very, 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 very influential on a lot of things that I did. So to everybody, Jane Doe, Foxy, 104.5, and the whole Kaleem, the whole staff over there, always being supportive. And of course, big shout out to my RDC for giving me the shot. So listen, we'll be back next season. I definitely appreciate y'all. If I did not mention your name, it is not because you're not in my heart. Blame my mind, because listen, it's the Kurin Keys show. I'm Kurin, King of Controversy. And as we say amongst the bros, and I'm gone. Yo, I think I got my hair cut too low, because like right here I'm thinning, and now I got the Forrest Whitaker all over. I was gonna have a show where I brought all my kids' mom. Nah. You're now rocking with the Kurin Keys show. I can't even say my own name. So today on the show, we have Kevin Hart. No, we don't. My homeboy's just short. Never mind. I told the station that I wanted to do a show, and I wanted to do a show about masturbation, and I wanted to be able to film. They said no. It's almost perfect right there. Hey!